So we're going to have a moment that I have with my family from time to time. I call it a daddy moment. It doesn't mean you're in trouble, but from time to time we have a daddy moment at the Carter household because we need to talk about, maybe it's a change in direction, maybe it's something that we're not on the same page about, we need to get clarity around. And so we're going to do that right now. So we have a fantastic children's ministry, Fierce Kids. And one of the things that's so fantastic about them is the volunteers. They crush it. It is well led. Kids are safe. They're learning about Jesus. I mean, it's just awesome. We have reached a point where we can no longer keep accepting new kids with the amount of volunteers that we have. In fact, we're overburdening our current volunteers, meaning there's not enough adults per kid in some of the classrooms. And so because that's not really excellence, we are going to, starting next weekend, like we did in COVID, we're going to allow a certain number of kids to come to Fierce Kids on Sunday mornings, and then we're just going to close the door. No more kids get to come after that, which means kids will start coming in here, and they'll be a part of the worship experience. It means probably if your kid, if you want to make sure they get there, you want to, don't step on the gas, but maybe just leave a little earlier. But we're doing this, guys, because I want us in here to feel it. They've been feeling it. They've been feeling the press and the crunch of having so much to manage that it's actually too much. We need to feel it. I want you to pretend. So I don't want you to feel weird about this, but I want you to feel a little weird about it, okay? Don't feel weird, but feel a little weird. Let's pretend that you have house guests, okay? And these house guests, they're going to stay for, a day or two. Like, hey, they're in town, maybe they're out of state, okay? And they stay a few days, and they're like, hey, let's just keep going. Why don't you guys just stay another few days? In fact, let's have you stay a couple weeks. And so it goes on, and they're staying 2 weeks and then 3 weeks. When they first arrived, it was like, oh man, I'm so pumped that you're here. I'll clean up those dishes for you, and don't worry about it. I'll make sure the sheets are changed, and I'll clean your room, man. Don't even worry about it. For the first few days, it's like, I'm just so excited that you're here. Like, it's wonderful to have you, and I'll just do everything. But then along comes week 6. And week 6, you're up, and you're vacuuming, okay, right? And you're dusting, and you're doing all the laundry. And as you walk by, they're in the family room, they're just kind of like propped out on the sofa, with the remote. They're doing this, and they're like, oh, hey, when you come back from doing the laundry, can you bring me an iced tea? At some point, it's like, man, I love that you're here, but it's weird that you're not helping. Like, that's just weird. It's weird in the church. I'm just saying, if you've been going to Fierce for 6 months and you haven't served, I want you to still feel like, hey, man, we're going to work hard to make sure that you encounter Jesus and have a good time. But also, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. It's a little weird that you don't feel any compulsion to feel like you should serve. And it's not only weird because it's the culture of the kingdom of Jesus Christ. It's supposed to be the culture of disciples because, see, disciples are servant ambassadors. They're not just ambassadors. Like, we're not the people that go in the green room and expect people to do stuff for us. We're the kind of ambassador that goes and gets their hands dirty and kneels down and gets some stuff done. So I don't want anyone to feel bad, but I also I don't want to endorse consumerism in the church. Okay, because consumerism, it's teaching us wrong things. We're really not consumers, and just so you know, this isn't a cruise line. This is the army of the Lord. And those are your brothers and sisters in there that are holding the thing up, all right? And so we kind of owe it. When people feed us spiritually, according to the Bible, we owe them, something in return. So I know that everybody's busy, and I know you got stuff, but I want you to feel a little weird, and maybe even weird enough, if God's calling you to do it, to sign up and help at Fierce Kids. There's a whole bunch of different ways you could do it. There's everything from security to facilitating a class. But Jesus has called us to do this because it's part of our spiritual formation process. And I'm not going to come around and knock on your door and I don't know who that is. And I'm just saying, but if you've been here for 6 months, you're undercutting your own development as a disciple if you don't get busy doing something. Because this is our thing, okay? This is your church too. And we do this together. Amen? So there's going to be some folks outside the doors. They're going to be at tables just waiting to sign you up if you want to sign up today. And I just got to let you know, it's not like we need 5 people. We need closer to 35 people. Like that's what we need in order to crush, to rock the positive experience we want people to have. And I just need you to like make the connection, okay? If we keep turning away parents with kids, many of those are gonna be first-time guests. And they're coming to a church that doesn't have, essentially in their mind, that doesn't have room for them. And that's just so counter to who we are. We've always said we will fiercely inconvenience ourselves to help people find their way back to God. Well, inconveniencing ourselves is part of what we just said. So I believe in you guys. I know that you're the right church. I know that you got grit, and I know that you got grace. Grace to take a towel and be a servant ambassador, not just one of these guys in the green room.